What is happening, everybody? MG here. MG Covers, bringing you a brand new sports handicapping video. Title of this video: Unconventional Strategy, Creating Profitable Sports Betting Models in Reverse. Super fascinating video. Excited to show you this video. If you want to learn how to create stat models or get better at it, this video is going to help you tremendously. If you're watching this video for the first time, greatly appreciate you subscribing to the channel. If you follow me on social media, it's MG Covers, cover spelled with a Z. Put out a ton of content on Instagram so you can get better by subscribing to the channel, and also follow me on social media. Okay, let's dive into this. This is something I've been working on probably the last, I don't know, maybe month or so. I got 3 stat model clients. You can learn how to build models with me. There's a link in the description box if you want to sign up to get on the email list. I'll talk about that later. But what I've learned and sort of had a philosophical change with regards to building models. What generally people focus on, or what influences the market, more times than not, that's going to be a stat that's overvalued. So I've always had the philosophy of, when you're building models, you need to focus on these stats that correlate to winning. But in actuality, one unconventional method that works just as well, if not better, is to find a stat that correlates to losing. Okay. And we're going to use 3 examples. We're going to use the Super Bowl example. I'm going to show you my client's part of my client's stat model for NHL, as well as this new model that I built for soccer. So let's start with NFL. The Super Bowl. Chiefs won this Super Bowl 25-22. Now that the game is over, if you ask the quote general public what happened in the Super Bowl, you'll probably hear one or 2 things. Number one, San Francisco blew it. They had multiple opportunities. Mike Shanahan made some bad, or Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan made some poor coaching decisions. Probably should have taken more risk, had opportunities to win it and didn't. You'll hear that side. The other side that you will hear is Patrick Mahomes was incredible offensive performance, incredible winning drive he had in the Super Bowl. And so what the point is, they'll put a ton of value on Patrick Mahomes' performance. They'll put a ton of value on the fact that the 49ers, poor coaching, made some mistakes. Okay. This is a hypothetical. Let's say hypothetically, I can watch the Super Bowl, but nobody else can. Okay. This is a hypothetical, so just go along with me. So I've already seen the Super Bowl. I already know the outcome of the Super Bowl. I'm going to give you one fact about the Super Bowl, and then you have to place the wager. Okay. What if, I've already watched the Super Bowl. Nobody else can see the results. I've already watched it, and you still can place a wager. What if I tell you San Francisco is only going to score 2 touchdowns? What happens? 95% of you watching this video would play the Chiefs money line, whatever it was, plus 115, plus 120. Every single one of you, or large majority. Why? Because that stat is extremely, extremely undervalued. So if you start to think about this, defense has nothing to do with Patrick Mahomes. It had nothing to do with San Francisco's coaching. It was just the fact that they basically could not score. So therefore, in this particular Super Bowl, what was very undervalued? Defensive stats. Now, granted, Kansas City only scored 2 touchdowns as well, but the point I'm making is, if I gave you that one stat, the game was very close. In fact, those of you that follow me know my model had this game at Chiefs -2. The line was 49ers -2. Probably should have been a pick 'em, because either team could have won it. But the point I'm making is, you can see easily how defense is extremely undervalued in this particular example. So with regards to models, what you want to do is, sometimes thinking about or trying to find a stat that correlates to winning, you would be better off, sir, finding a stat or stats that correlate to losing or prevent a team from winning, because the stats that's most popular, offensive stats, are going to be extremely overvalued. And what's going to be undervalued? Stats that correlate to losing. Okay, now let's take a look at slide over. This is, again, I'm not going to show the stat or stats that my client's using, but this is his NHL model. We started this after working on it, started on 127, and now let's go all the way to the bottom here, 218. We lost Pittsburgh last night. So his model is 27 and 25, up 8.68 units, and that's less than 1 month. Now, if I told you the two stats that he's using for this model, every single person watching this video would say that's not going to work, and myself included, because when he was putting this model together, I thought, not sure if this is going to work. But again, relating that to the first example, what he's done is it's not so much about finding a stat that correlates to winning. Basically, what it does is it shows a team's vulnerability to lose a game. And that's why we're able, and this model cash and dogs too, you can see it here. Plus 1.16, that's a dog. 2.6, San Jose. 1.6, 1.2. These are all underdogs. 1.35, meaning we played them at plus 135, plus 125, plus 144, plus 125. So it's really good at sniffing out those dogs. And again, a lot of times, if the overall marketplace is overvaluing something, maybe a stat or whatever, and you don't have that stat in your model, what's going to happen? You're going to get a tremendous amount of value. Does that make sense? Now, granted, you're still going to take losses, but again, all we're trying to do is profit long term. Now, let me show you this soccer model that I came up with. So when he was having the success with this NHL model, I thought, I want to do something similar with soccer. So again, it's the same thing. So again, if I told you the stat or how I was constructing this soccer model, conventional wisdom would say this is not going to work. In fact, it actually loses more than it wins. You can see there, these are the results. This has been basically about a week's worth of data. It's 19 and 26, so that equates to 42% win percentage, but it's up 11.02 units, and that's grading one play as one unit, which is the correct way you want to grade it when you're testing a model. In essence, what I've done is the stat or stats that correlate to winning or what people overvalue in soccer, it's not in this model. So it's sort of a backwards approach, and it's the same type conventional wisdom. Again, I'm trying to give you as much information without giving away the model. Obviously, we can't do that. I can't do that. But I want to show you the results of that. And so when you're building models, again, sometimes it's better to think, what does the public value? What stat or stats correlate to winning in soccer? And then on the flip side of that, what stat or stats, what causes a team to lose? And you look at some of these right here. I'm just going to go through a few of these. Manchester United, this is back 211 plus 217 dog, that hit. And it look at there, plus 490 dog, that missed, plus 247 dog, it missed. So again, it's going to lose more than it wins. And again, this is only playing underdogs. So like this particular example here, and it's based what I call a margin concept. That's how I calculate it. It's the same thing as creating a line, except I just show the margin difference in the line, meaning Manchester City had an 82% margin of between my line and the book's line. So rather than showing the line, I just calculated the margin. Okay, here's one plus 430 that lost. 224 that lost. So took some losses here, and then bam, here's one from La Liga, a plus 473 dog, it wins. There's one for plus 159, it wins. These are both no plays here. This was on 214, plus 110 dog lost, a plus 218 dog lost, 248 lost, and plus 100 and plus 147 won. Go back to 216, plus 177 dog wins, a plus 202 dog wins, 393 loss, and a 268 loss. And we'll go to, let me go down here to yesterday, because I think yesterday was a really good example of this. Yep, here we go. So it had a total of 9 plays in the model. It went 3 and 6 and was still up 2 units. Sheffield plus 383, that loss. But boom, check this out. Lorient plus 418, it cashes. And noticed Lorient was away. Now, again, away teams in soccer are only going to win about 25% of the time. But again, going back to what we talked about earlier, home teams in soccer are way overvalued because they win more than the draw, win more than the away side. So by incorporating the away teams or not having any restrictions on either side, we're able to get a tremendous amount of value. And a lot of times in this tracker, these big wins are coming from the away side. So we win that one. Linz plus 210 was a loss. Brest plus 161 was a win. Freiburg was a loss, plus 143. Bologna here hits at plus 225 and 270 loss there. So it ended up going 3-6 and still up 2 units. And again, 19 and 26 up 11.02. And what's interesting, and I divided this up too, just so you could see it. If I just played home teams, I would only profit two units. So the majority of those wins are coming from the away side. Again, the side that's very undervalued. And if I simply played spreads, it would only be up 1.2 units. So again, very, very cerebral approach, sort of a backwards approach. And just to summarize, when you're building models, again, sometimes it may be necessary to include a stat that correlates to winning, but a lot of times what you'll see, and I've showed you in this video, the stats that correlate to winning are overvalued because everybody in the marketplace puts value on that. So if you don't include that in the model and you maybe come up with a stat that correlates to losing, that stat's going to be extremely undervalued, and it's going to be a very unconventional approach, but more times than not, a very profitable approach to sports handicapping. Greatly appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. If you want access to all of my lines for all sports, including all of my coaching videos on the website, $50 a month is a great way to learn this business and get better. If you want access to all my plays, in addition to everything I just mentioned, $100 a month. And if you join for an entire year, instead of paying $100 a month, you can pay $4.99 for an entire year. It's like getting an associate's degree in sports handicapping for only $500. You save about $600 on the year, and you get access to everything for 1 year. There's a link to join the description box. Greatly appreciate you guys watching this video. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.